Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Night Talks podcast. And today we are going to be talking specifically about a player, Kobbie Mainoo, basically. So we're going to be doing a deep dive into his style of play and how it fits into Amorim's system, amongst other things. We're going to be breaking down, detailed reaction into how Kobbie Mainoo fits into Amorim's system, who he is, how he started, how he got to this point, and all of that. We all know that Ruben Amorim is a very ruthless person when it comes to dealing with the kind of or profile of player that he wants for his squad. And he typically also already, like when he came in November 2024, November 11, 2024, there was a clear shift from kind of like a short-term to a long-term plan, all of that. And obviously we all got to learn about his signature back three system, where he plays typically plays a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1 formation and all of that. And there has been a seismic shift at the club. He earned his reputation for his ruthless stance, and obviously we could tell with what happened with the exile players, including Marcus Rashford, who was first sent on loan after playing 6 games under Ruben Amorim to Aston Villa. And then obviously at that time he was worth around 100 million. I mean, if you're looking at his statistics from when he scored 30 goals in all competitions last season or the season before, was shipped to Aston Villa and then eventually loaned out in July or this month to Barcelona and all of that. He's making a seismic change, and obviously the hierarchy are on board with it and taking a huge leap of faith, right? Backing him and all of that. They are actually willing to take a financial hit on players whose market values have plummeted because Amorim's strategies made their positions untenable. And this rapid alignment, between Amorim and the leadership isn't just procedural. It's profound commitment to a singular technical vision, prioritizing system coherence and unwavering player dedication above status or historical value. And this is me just trying to create like a background for you to kind of understand where we're headed and what made me to kind of get to this point. Now, to truly understand this commitment, you have to look at the transfer market. United already splashed £133.5 million on Marcus Cunha and Mbeumo, players who specifically were targeted to fit Amorim's formation. And this isn't just about signing good players. I mean, it's about reshaping the squad, piece by piece. I mean, to fit very specific tactical puzzles. And this brings us to a player called Kobbie Mainoo. A player whose integration and performance are absolutely critical to the success of the system. I mean, it's a system-first approach for Manchester United, for the board and all of that. It's players like Kobbie Mainoo who appear to be a perfect fit. If players like Kobbie Mainoo who appear to be perfect fit don't thrive, it could undermine, the entire strategic shift that Man United have entered or have gone into. Now, who is Kobbie Mainoo? That's the question now. Kobbie Mainoo, and why is he central to this new vision? Born on 19th of April 2005, Mainoo is a highly versatile midfielder, predominantly right-footed, and he stands at 175 centimeters tall. And his adaptability allows him to operate effectively across various central midfield positions. Defensive midfield, central midfield, and even more advanced as a number 10 position, as we saw when we played him in 24-25 season. The 23-24 season was his breakthrough season, and it was marked by his significant contribution, especially with that memorable first Premier League goal against Wolves. That goal where he nutmegged 2 people, and dribbled past one person, nutmegged the second, and then placed it safely in the bottom right of the net. To give us a 3-2 win against Wolves. And Marcus Cunha was in that team, right? So now let's break down his strengths. Let's dive deep into what he is made of and how he fits into the system. Mainoo possesses a high degree of technical skill. His dribbling is rated at 7.7 over 10. Ball control is rated at 7.8 over 10. And these aren't just numbers. They translate to a player who can confidently beat defenders with quick footwork and maintain composure under pressure. A quality rated 7.5 over 10 is what people have seen as Kobbie Mainoo, basically the kind of player he is. heard legends and top players call him they've tagged him one who is like Clarence Seedorf. He just glides on the ball and all that. His passing is a very strong 7.5 over 10, and crucially, he is highly press resistant. This is a very vital trait for modern midfielders operating in tight spaces, especially in a system like Amorim's system. Now, his tactical awareness and exceptional complement, and his tactical awareness is exceptional. Complemented by impressive vision and game reading abilities. He positions himself effectively, and he anticipates opponent movements and execute crucial interceptions and clearances. He influences games through his intelligence, ball control, and astute positional awareness, demonstrating his ability to dictate the tempo and seamlessly connect midfield to attack. But Mainoo was kind of like, if you watch the game, the preseason game against West Ham, Manuel Ugarte specifically stated that Kobbie Mainoo is a kind of player, he's a young player with a lot of experience. Came into limelight at age 18, has played 2 seasons at Man United. This will be his 3rd season, and he's performed really well in those seasons. Maybe we could say he had an off season last season, but he has done exceptionally well. He's done exceptionally well in the preceding seasons, right? Now, physically, Mainoo boasts impressive pace and high work rate, enabling him to cover extensive ground. His agility is rated around 8.2 over 10, and his balance are standout features according to the stats and all of that, allowing him to maneuver through tight spaces and maintain control. His acceleration and change of pace are particularly noteworthy. Like you can see, it's the eye test, right? Facilitating quick bursts forward or rapid recovery in defense. And his stamina is also a significant, it's also a significant strength for him, rated at 8.2 over 10. Mentally, Mainoo excels in a teamwork of 8.2 over 10 and determination, showcasing unwavering commitment and resilience. Despite his young age, he exhibits remarkable concentration and composure at 7.5 over 10, ensuring, consistent performance. His leadership qualities are also evident, and he handles pressure with maturity, right? Maintaining a consistently positive temperament. His professionalism is rated highly as well. Now, no player is perfect, right? We all know this, like it's evident. And Mainoo has areas of development or areas that are marked for development, and Amorim has said it severally and in the most recent press conference before West Ham, where he said he's working closely with Kobbie Mainoo. While his physical attributes are still commendable, there is room for improvement in his strength and his aerial ability. But surprisingly, if you look at Kobbie Mainoo, the way he leaps off the floor, you'll be shocked that guy jumps really high, but still needs improvement in it. Specifically, there are some technical aspects like long shots, his heading, he could benefit from further development. His 2024-25 Premier League season statistics show no goals or assists in 25 appearances, with an expected goals of 0.77, and an expected assist of 0.179. This suggests the need to translate his progressive play and chance creation into more direct goal contributions. He had an off season last season, but in the cups, like in Europe, he scored that wonderful goal. He scored a couple of amazing goals. He scored wonderful goals against Newcastle, against Liverpool as well, and all of that. Now, it's important to understand that Mainoo isn't a traditional attacking midfielder solely focused on goals and assists. Ruben Amorim sees him as one who's a deep line playmaker, one who thrives on control, who thrives on controlling the ball and holding onto the ball and passing and creating chances for the team. Basically, he is a complete, modern midfielder who brings a unique blend of press resistance, midfield control and defensive work rate. His stats aren't typical for a classic number 10, but that's because if Amorim considers him to be, considers him for an advanced role, then it's a midfield country. It's a redefined one, right? It implies that it implies a demand for a number 10 who deeply contributes to all phases of play, linking in build-up, maintaining midfield control, engaging in high pressing, and supporting defensive transitions. Now, this redefinition aligns perfectly with Amorim's high-intensity structured approach, where every player is expected to be a two-way contributor. So in Amorim's system, everybody is supposed to be involved in playing multiple roles. You can see, for example, like Ahmad can play as a wing back and I can play as a 10. You have Bruno playing as a deep line playmaker and also as a 10. Marcus Cunha can play as a striker and as a 10. Cunha Mbeumo can play as a striker, a 10, and a wing back. He's played that before. You have players like Patrick Dogu can play on the left and on the right. You have Nusra Mazraoui can play as a midfielder, can play as a right centre back, and can play as a wing back. Then you have Rasmus Højlund, who is also solely a striker. We have Joshua Zirkzee, who is a striker, a 9.5, a 10, can play in those positions. I can progress the ball. So Amorim requires players who are versatile in more than one role so they can actually fit in anywhere they find themselves. So how does Kobbie Mainoo fit into this Amorim system? Now, basically, before we talk about that, because I said Amorim requires players who can play multiple roles, let's not forget that Kobbie Mainoo has a mental fortitude, returning from a significant ankle injury in 23-24 and performing at a very high level, coupled with his noted composure and professionalism, underscores a remarkable resilience for a young player who is just 20 years of age. Basically, he even has England caps and he has gone to the Euros as well. This mental strength is critical for thriving under a demanding manager like Amorim, who values commitment and discipline. You can see in the training videos that Ruben Amorim is even taking time to spend quality time with the players and build valuable relationship and camaraderie. You see him, laughing with the players, hugging the players, creating that, that environment that players can thrive in, right? Now to the question I asked before, how does Kobbie Mainoo fit into this Amorim's system? How does it fit into Amorim's blueprint for midfield? Amorim's system, as we've discussed in the past, is built around the 3-4-3 and the 3-4-2-1 formation. Central to this is typically a double pivot in midfield. That's the 2 6s. These two central midfielders are tasked with providing security in possession, so ball control, dictate play and stuff, and then are often positioned to back up the press, marking the two midfielders closest to the opponent's goal when defending. Now, in the 3-4-2-1, two wide forwards, often invert to create central overloads, right? Now, in the build-up phase, basically, Amorim's play is highly structured, and often involving the goalkeeper, that is from the back, right? A distinctive feature in the central center back, moving into midfield, right? So basically, and that was the reason why we considered one of the goals we considered against West Ham, because the league switched off for a bit and was supposed to press into midfield, right? So a distinct feature for Ruben Amorim's system is the central center back, moving into midfield, forming a 2-3 shape, right? Effectively a 3-man midfield. Now, the objective is progression through the middle with a central center back and the double pivot facilitating connections, right? Now, players in these roles must be highly press resistant and comfortable playing in tight spaces. Now, out of possession, Amorim's teams are characterized by their high intensity and aggressive pressing. Now, they always press the goalkeeper when out of possession, and the team typically adopts a compact 5-2-3 or 5-4-1 shape. Now, with wing backs dropping deep. Now, the two central midfielders play a central role in covering large spaces, particularly during transitions. They must be ball-winning midfielders, number one, who can break play effectively, and then they must also cover ground quickly, able to run and sprint, and also look to pick up second balls. That is where Manuel Ugarte comes in the midfield, and that's why it was easier for Manuel Ugarte and Kobbie Mainoo to thrive, because Ugarte does the covering while Kobbie Mainoo does the recovering, right? Now, let's look at United's current midfield shape. You have Bruno Fernandes, a creative force for the key passes and chance creation, but also a high turnover rate due to risky passes. You have Casemiro, primarily a strong defensive midfielder, excellent at tackling and clearances, but struggles with first phase build-up and press resistance. Then you have Manuel Ugarte. He's a quintessential destroyer, excelling in duels and regaining possession, but lacks progressive passing at times, right? And then there is the potential target of Ederson from Atlanta that has cooled off a little bit, but he's also described as a dynamic box-to-box midfielder with exceptional work rate and ball carry, but not primarily a playmaker. Now, the current options present a clear imbalance. Casemiro struggles with build-up, Ugarte lacks progressive passing, and Fernandes, while creative, can be prone to turnovers. Amorim's system emphasizes central progression and press-resistant midfielders. Now, this combination, means that the double pivot could struggle to consistently progress the ball through the lines, leading to predictable long balls or over-reliance on the central centre back, right? Now, defensive gaps are also left by aggressive pressing or risky passes, which could be exploited, right? Now, this highlights a significant gap: the need for a midfielder who can reliably receive the ball under pressure, carry the ball. Hence why we have someone like Cunha who can carry the ball. We have someone like Mbeumo who can help carry the ball from that midfield. We have someone like Joshua Zexi as well who can help carry the ball from the midfield. And then distribute it progressively, effectively acting as a connector. We had that in Christian Eriksen last time when we had him as the connector, progressor of the ball, carrier. Surprisingly, you'll be shocked he can carry the ball like that. Now, the struggles of Casemiro under Amorim, coupled with the manager's ruthless stance on players not fully in tune, suggest a potential strategic shift away from certain established veterans. Casemiro's limitations, who we can see he's building up his team as well, but obviously he's nearing the end of his prime years, right? In a build-up this appears to contradict Amorim's emphasis, right? Now, while a strong defender, his ball playing deficiencies could make him a tactical liability, and this this creates a strategic challenge for Ruben Amorim. Now for Amorim, the challenge will be to coach Casemiro to adapt, replace him with a more suitable profile like Ederson, or adjust the roles of other midfielders to compensate. The last option could also elevate Mainoo into a more prominent ball-playing deep role, showcasing Amorim's pragmatic adaptability. But why I mentioned it is because obviously we still need midfield bodies. Recently, Toby Collier was, sent on loan to Bristol City, so obviously he's going to gain valuable experience there, improve his ability to play in a league for the first team and get first team minutes, right? And then he can gain valuable experience. And I made a full player profile video for Toby Collier, and obviously you could tell that there's a player there, but he still has been plagued by injuries, right? Now this brings us to the exciting part: Kobbie Mainoo's tactical integration into Ruben Amorim's system, because I had to talk about what we have basically in the midfield and then bring it down to what we can do with Kobbie Mainoo in the system. Now, these synergies are remarkable. Mainoo's exceptional tactical awareness, his vision, his game reading abilities align perfectly with Ruben Amorim's demand for intelligent players. Now, his inherent press resistance, superior ball control, and comfort in tight spaces are paramount for Amorim's central midfield build-up strategy. And you can see that some of the ways Mainoo has played and shown some maturity, especially in the game against West Ham. I know we're not using one game to judge, but in the game against West Ham, you could tell that he has that maturity and he's probably gained valuable knowledge, playing with players like Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. He gains valuable experience and all of that, right? And he becomes more mature, right? Now, he can control the ball in tight spaces, as I've said, but his ability to also retain possession under pressure will be invaluable. Furthermore, his impressive high work rate, his stamina and his agility make him an ideal candidate for Amorim's high-intensity pressing and rapid transitional play. You see that against West Ham, it was his pressing that led him to win, that caused the turnover for Bruno Fernandes to score the second goal, right? Now, he possesses the physical attributes and defensive diligence to effectively back up the press and quickly recover second balls. His innate versatility, capable of performing across defensive midfield, central midfield, and even the advanced number 10 role, where he scored goals for Man United last season, provides Amorim with a significant tactical flexibility. Now, Mainoo's unique blend of attributes, especially his press resistance, the ball carrying combined with defensive work rate and tactical intelligence, positions him as a crucial balancing and connecting element for Amorim's midfield. Directly addressing existing imbalances. He can also reliably receive under pressure, and also progress the ball, preventing a midfield stagnation, moving the ball and advancing the ball. He can also cover defensively, allowing more aggressive players like Ugarte to focus on ball winning, or creators like Bruno Fernandes to operate higher with less defensive burdens. He also acts as the tactical glue, ensuring smoother transitions, maintaining possession under pressure or under duress, as the case may be, and providing a cohesive link between the defensive and the attacking lines. Now, so what are his potential roles basically in this Man United team? Now, Mainoo's potential roles is kind of like one of the deeper pivots. He could be the defensive midfielder, central midfielder, gluing and leading the line box to box and all that. Defensive ability, tactical awareness, and press resistance make him exceptionally strong candidate for one of the two central midfield roles in Amorim's double pivot. He could also shield the defense. That is something that Amorim is working on with him, and break up play, which is another thing that Amorim said he's working on with him for strength and all of that. And then he can also initiate attacks from deep, which is what he does. He's shown that severally. Now, he could also be a box-to-box midfielder. That's another potential role he could be. His stamina, ball carrying ability, and his consistent defensive contribution enable him to excel in a dynamic box-to-box role, linking defense to attack and covering significant ground. Now, he can also be a redefined attacking number 10, or one of the two 10s, as Amorim has tried last season. We discussed his unique ability, to blend intelligence with press resistance, with midfield control and defensive work rate, which could also redefine his traditional number 10. Instead of a pure creative playmaker, he could also operate as an advanced midfielder who, strategically drops deep to dictate tempo, connect play, and then contribute significantly to the team's pressing efforts and defensive transitions. Now, this allows him to offer penetration through vertical positioning, creating a more fluid and a more dynamic setup. Case in point is the game against Wolves in 22-23 season, where he scored that wonderful goal. Now, Mainoo's superior ball carrying and press resistance would perfectly complement Ugate's destroyer profile and his identified lack of progressive passing, right? Now, Mainoo could also assume the primary responsibility of ball progression, allowing Ugarte to focus on winning possession. Now, the pairing has the potential to create a well-balanced midfield too, which has shown as evidenced in game against West Ham, right? With Bruno Fernandes, Mainoo's strong defensive work rate and ability to control the midfield, this could also provide a more stable, secure base, potentially allowing Fernandes greater freedom to focus on exceptional creative strengths higher up the pitch, reducing the team's vulnerability for high turnovers. And should Casemiro be phased out, Mainoo is the natural and highly suitable candidate to step into a more central football or central ball playing midfield position that demands consistent involvement in possession. And that is what Amorim is actually looking at. He talked about it in a press conference where he said that Mainoo thrives better playing closer to the ball. Now, Amorim's highly structured system, with its emphasis on coordinated build-up and fluid attacking rotations, could also significantly aid Mainoo in improving his attacking output by providing him with a clearer passing, with clearer passing lanes and more defined attacking movement. His physical development, particularly in strength and aerial ability will naturally progress with continued professional training and increased experience, as Amorim has said time and again. Mainoo's versatility offers Amorim significant tactical flexibility, potentially reducing the immediate need for multiple specialized signings and enhanced squad ability, adaptability. This means Amorim does not need to acquire a specific type for every midfield role, reducing the recruitment pressure and costs, and also making the squad more resilient to injuries. Development allows Manchester United to allocate transfer funds to other glaring weaknesses rather than consistently seeking specialized midfield profiles. As I've said time and again, Man United needs to focus on signing a midfielder that will, thrive under Ruben Amorim and all of that. So, what are the strategic implications for and the outlook of this new season for Kobbie Mainoo? Mainoo's strong and natural alignment with Ruben Amorim's tactical framework could also significantly enhance Manchester United's overall ability to effectively implement a high-intensity pressing system or high-intensity possession-based system. His consistent presence in the midfield is expected to lead to greater control of the central areas, improved and more reliable ball progression from deep, and the establishment of a more effective and cohesive pressing structure across the pitch. Now, he has the potential to become the fundamental cornerstone of this team, and embodying the ideal blend of technical skill, tactical intelligence, and basically the relentless work ethic that Amorim values in his team. Now, Mainoo's continued development across the team and across all phases and success could actually significantly reduce the immediate necessity for United to pursue high-cost central midfielders with similar attributes. Furthermore, Mainoo's potential success under Amorim would not only benefit the team directly, but also serve as a powerful, validation of Amorim's commitments to developing and transitioning young players from the academy into the first team. Now, if Mainoo thrives under Amorim, it provides a tangible proof that Amorim's system and coaching can effectively nurture and integrate young talent. Now, this success could also foster a culture of internal growth and provide a sustainable model for squad building, reducing over-reliance on expensive transfers. Now, at just 20 years old, Kobbie Mainoo is on the cusp of entering his prime. Basically, his prime years could probably be from now till like he turns 30, because he looks like someone who's playing, with a sense of, like, he gives that Clarence Seedorf style play. If you watch Clarence Seedorf, for those who haven't, you can just quickly Google it, you'll see. Now, his unique combination of attributes coupled with his demonstrated mental fortitude positions him as the prime candidate to become the long-term leader and a pivotal player for Manchester United under Ruben Amorim. Now, his potential to redefine the number 10 role suggests that he could also evolve into a truly modern, complete midfielder capable of influencing all three phases of play: defense, transition, attack. These are the three phases of play that Ruben Amorim's system requires. Now, this comprehensive profile is crucial for a club with Manchester United's ambitions. Now, the ruthless stance on Rashford and substantial investment of players like Cunha and Mbeumo clearly indicates a move away from a collection of stars to a system-first approach. Mainoo's inherent qualities aligns perfectly with the demands of Amorim's system. Right now, this actually signifies a broader strategic direction for Manchester United, building a squad where individual players' attributes are precisely tailored to the manager's tactical vision, rather than just signing big, massive names or marquee signings, then trying to fit them in. Now, the success of players like Mainoo, who embody Amorim's archetype, will be the ultimate litmus test for whether this highly integrated system-first approach can bring sustained success and potentially redefine Manchester United's recruitment and development of philosophy for years to come. So that's pretty much basically everything about what we've tried to do with bringing about Kobbie Mainoo's profile. He's not just another promising talent, but a potential cornerstone for basically Ruben Amorim's Manchester United rebuild. Now, the question will now be: will he live up to the hype or become the midfield? Like, will he live up to the hype and become the midfield maestro that Old Trafford craves? That's something that time will tell. Only time will tell. But the signs are, certainly promising. Now, that is the player profile for Kobbie Mainoo. Let me know your thoughts and feelings about, that one. And what do you think Manchester United should do in this case? Should we, because there's rumors that Kobbie Mainoo could be sold, or Spurs were interested in Kobbie Mainoo, but yeah, I don't think, because he still has a contract till 2026 or 27, but I think he has a contract till 28. So he probably would sign an extension, whatever the case may be. We have to keep an eye on him because he's a player that we love and one that will become the cornerstone for Manchester United's progress, especially for academic advancement and all. The future of Manchester United, basically. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section about this whole Kobbie Mainoo situation. And thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for helping us reach unique milestone, and we're still heading to another milestone. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I see all your comments and I appreciate it. I try as much as possible to respond to as many as I can. I appreciate all your comments, and I'll see you on the next one, and I'll try as much as possible to reply them. If you have any questions or comments or thoughts, just drop them in the comment section and we'll break them down. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.